Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Cultures. I'm your host, Sabrina Tesco, and today, this is our second episode. The topic that we are going to be discussing today is the sun. There is a lot about the sun that society is not aware. There is a lot about our sun that you need to know about. This is very crucial information. And before we dive into the topic, I would like to say that indeed, this is a new channel. So if you feel the burning desire to spread the word, I would like to invite you to consider sending an email or a messenger to people that you know who also resonate with this topic. And please share our channel with them. Thank you so much. And so now let us begin with our topic of the day, shall we? What I'm going to be sharing with you today is not things that are mundane conversation, okay? Yes, this is the occult, what I'm going to share with you. This is what is hidden. This is what is. And just because you're uninformed and you haven't seen information about there in society, that doesn't mean that what I'm going to share with you, that it's not true. Remember, everything about society has been brainwashed, planned, and orchestrated. So if you believe all of the system, we're living in a matrix illusion. So it's time now to open up your eyes. So I would like to invite you, before we begin, to take a deep breath. Some will find this shocking, but there's a lot of evidence to back this up. So why is it that I'm sharing this bold information with you? Well, it's because a lot of high minds and in high places all understand this, but we can't reveal this to the public because there's levels and steps to disclosure. But a lot of people already know, or they suspect. But you know what? I'm here to acknowledge that what you suspect is true. And if there are any people out there who are saying things like it's SGI, what I'm going to be showing you today, I would like to just remind you that all footages that you're going to see here of the sun and objects near it are all from SOHO, NASA's most expensive, most high-end technology satellite. So all images of these intelligent objects, all right, around the sun, going in the sun, coming out the sun, fueling by sucking plasma of the sun. All these footages are authentic. So please breathe deeply. Yes, this is not a fluffy and light subject. It's a very profound topic. And without any further ado, I am now going to introduce you to our first clip with Nassim Haramein. Enjoy.
I couldn't believe my eyes. They were immense. I mean, they only looked like little dots on the data, but a little dot beside the sun meaning that the object's almost the size of the Earth.
Planet-size objects entering the sun. And NASA found something extraordinary that even NASA had missed. He thinks there's only one explanation.
I believe these objects may be intergalactic ships from advanced civilization. They appear to be under intelligent control. They don't appear to act in a natural way that you would expect from, cosmological objects like comets and meteorites and so on.
Could this explain the sun's odd behavior? Are changes in its sunspot and solar flare activity being caused by alien ships?
The solar flare appears to emanate right after the objects impact the sun. To me, clear that the two are absolutely related, and the sun flare is most likely the shock wave resulting from the penetration of the objects through the surface of the sun.
Alien spacecraft deliberately crashing into the sun. It's an incredible theory, but why would they do it? According to NASA, the answer lies in the astronomical records of the ancient Egyptians.
When I looked at all the data around the world from all these civilizations, they all talked about the sun gods. When you looked at these texts and the way they described them, they talked about the sun gods using the sun as a gateway. If you were an advanced civilization, and here I'm talking about a very advanced civilization, you could maybe enter and then come out at any other point in the universe.
Is our sun part of an intergalactic highway being used by alien traffic? Are they responsible for disrupting its natural cycles and threatening the Earth? Now, we did some pretty strange things on the Enterprise, but this is weird or what? Let me see if I got this straight. NASA scientists say our sun's sunspot cycles are behaving weirdly, and this could cause a giant killer solar flare to head towards Earth, right? While another guy, Nassim, thinks that there's something else causing these solar flares. He thinks aliens in spaceships the size of the Earth are crashing in and out of the sun, wreaking havoc. Nassim's theory seems crazy, or is it?
So I just would like to elaborate a little bit, because when I've seen this clip many, many years ago on TV, for the first time, I was in awe because of the confirmations of what it is that I know through my interaction, through my lucid dreams. I've been through the sun. Not physically, but through astral travel. I've passed through the sun more than once. So I can say with confirmation, without having any proof for sure, and even though this sounds way out, I know that there are many other people out there in our world who have also had dreams of such. Very symbolic, very significant, because it is the truth. So what happens is that when a ship comes into the sun, it's basically exiting another sun in another faraway galaxy. So these interstellar civilizations, they are basically moving from one dimension to another through the solar Stargate. I guess we could put it that way. All suns are connected. In other words, inside the sun, you could say the sun is hollow, that there's universes inside the sun. So that when we go into the sun, or in reverse, when we see ships flying out of the sun, where are they coming from, right? Now, I know this is very heavy information. And if you're finding this entertaining, well, have a good laugh, because you won't be laughing in the end when we are actually going to come into the realization of this information. So all I can say is breathe deeply, everyone, because this is a big chunk to grasp. And I think this is a big chunk that some people might fear, So yes, the sun is a Stargate. And those ships that pass through the sun, in and out, and fuel on the sun, all these ships, it's not like all UFOs are a part of the same category. All these ships that rotate around the sun, fuel from the sun, or use the sun to for energy, these are of a type civilization 2. They are a civilization type 2. And as I mentioned, there's 3 types of civilizations, but I won't get into it because I'm going to save this for another episode, okay? I'm just going to mention that Civilization type 2 definitely master the energy of a sun. Okay, and there's also, I'm going to go quickly since I'm here. Civilization type 1, they utilize and master the energy of a planet, such as here on Earth when we see earthquakes, volcanoes, eruptions, storms, so on and so forth. They master the energies of the Earth, and basically this is how they fuel. There's also portals on Earth, in the oceans as well. So there's also time travel that's intertwined within that. So time travel, I believe, is intertwined within all civilizations. And so basically, civilization type 2, as I just mentioned, is a solar civilization. So these civilizations, they utilize and master the energy of a sun. So those who are of a civilization type 1 are limited. A civilization type 2 is more powerful in technology than civilization type 1, more capacity as well. Civilization type 3, they utilize intergalactic energy. So they utilize the energy of an entire galaxy, their galaxy where they are from. This also implies black holes, because you see there is black holes. There is a black hole in our planet. There's a black hole in our sun. There's a black hole in every single cell inside of our 3.7 trillion cells inside of our body. So when we're talking about this magic, I guess we could use that word, this magic of traveling in these spaces that are unknown to us. And so what comes after a civilization type 3? Well, there's more to that. Like I sense that there's more to those levels of technologies. But you know, what are we? That's what I wanted to come to. You know what level of technology we are? We are 0. We are not even mature enough to be on that map yet. We are little babies in the face of our cosmic cultures. And even though we have been reverse engineering these ships that we've recuperated, which, by the way, these ships were deliberately crashed to give us these opportunities, by the way, okay? If these UFOs are high-end technologies, why are they crashing? They're crashing deliberately. It's done purposely. And so with that said, we are reversing these technologies. We are creating other technologies through these ships. But the thing is we're just playing and testing the waters without knowing. We are playing with this technology. We don't understand it. So just as like in Atlantis, one of my hometowns, it can blow up in our faces as well. Anyways, so just want to say that high technology might sound very interesting, but it's a very fine line as well. So, and now I would like to proceed by sharing this next clip with you, okay? Because I've mentioned that, yes, all suns are connected. All suns are one Stargate. So even though there's many suns, they're not all different portals. All of them, no matter which sun you enter, you can exit the sun of your choice, okay? So all of these vast trillions of suns, because we don't know how many infinite trillions of galaxies there are, they're all connected. You know, again, think of entanglement. So with that said, I'm now going to proceed with this clip, because I did mention briefly that see the sun as hollow or see the sun as a stargate. Now I'm going to show you what the portal inside the sun looks like. So what you are here seeing now, dear viewers, is exactly footage from NASA satellites. Now, what you are looking at is the mouth of the sun. This is the entrance of the Stargate. This is the doorway to penetrate inside the sun. So here's a little bit more information about this mind-boggling information about the coronal hole that's inside the sun. Indeed, taken by NASA images from their high-end technology. How can they say this is not true? And did you see all those UFOs around the sun in the red zone? Well, indeed, this is real. This is real, folks. Symbolism in ancient art. Symbolism in ancient artifacts. Again, in ancient classical paintings. In crop circles. What do you think all these messages are saying? Very mysterious indeed. Indeed, the shifting of paradigms. There are more advantages at play here for us to encounter these high-minded individuals. Now, this is going to be very, very, very interesting because this has happened a couple of weeks ago, June 8th, 2019. I'm not going to talk because I'm going to share this clip video. And by the way, everyone, all videos that I'm displaying here are all links to all those channels are promoted here. So all their links of each video you're seeing here are going to be down below in the description section.
Peer right over here.
So check this out, friends.
The second is coming. Here it goes. Right there. And that little anomaly, once it's increased in size, appears to be a disk shooting straight out of our sun. Now, you would think that if something came out of the sun, it wouldn't be shooting from the top out. It would be shooting top diagonal, because that's kind of the way gravity is throwing it. But not this one. So I don't believe it's magma by the trajectory it's taking. It's going outward. Now let's take a closer look. Now here's the full photograph, as you see, taken on June 8th at 13:06 hours. And let's zoom in on the corner in the upper right. We're zooming in closer and closer. Look at that. You see, it looks like it's been coming out. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. That's maximum I can get right there. Look at that. It looks like it's leaving a trail behind coming out. So I believe this is not going in, but actually coming out. I'm going to try to alter the color to try to see the trail better. Ooh, that's pretty good, isn't it? That really brightens it up a lot compared to normal. This is how it is. But let's go to sharpening, to brightness, and keep it right about there so we can see things better. And zoom out so we can see a comparison of the size of this UFO and the size of our sun. Now, as an example to you, the size of our planet Earth is smaller than my cursor hand next to the UFO. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 times bigger than Earth.
I say 6 to 8 times bigger.
4 times bigger than Earth, and maybe 6 times bigger than Earth.
Yes, 6 to 8 times bigger.
This is really huge. For NASA not to discuss any magma shooting out that's 6 times larger than Earth is unprecedented. I mean, they're not doing their job if they're really not telling us things flying out of the sun, because if this is just magma, it's more than enough to wipe out every single planet in our solar system if they were all lined up. I mean, this is insane, and it doesn't look like magma to me. It looks like a ship, a disk of some sort, almost like a rod, like a giant rod. So
it's
what's
a cigar.
your opinion about this? Tell me what you think this is below in the comments. Is this a giant rod? Is this magma? Is this a meteor? What is this, and why is it flying out at this trajectory? With the sun rotating, objects most of the time when they are magma, They shoot out in this kind of direction, going outward. But this is not. It's shooting differently. It has a 45-degree more tilt than other objects coming out of the sun, which makes me think it is a UFO. If this was magma, I believe it would just come straight out. There's no reason it would start over here and shoot in this direction. But I suppose anything is possible in astronomy and astrophysics. This is absolutely mind-blowing, guys. Look at that. Let's look at that in negative format. Okay, we can see that the object does appear to have a disc, not disc, but a hump on the bottom of it.
Look at that.
It has one on the bottom.
Very defined.
If they have artificial gravity on
very
board,
clear.
their ship can actually be upside down, and they think they're right side up. So it's really hard to tell. In space, there is no right side up, no upside down. So you just kind of go with it out there. Isn't that awesome? Here's an even more close-up still of it. And it really does look like that it's an object from our sun. It doesn't look like magma to me. Magma would be all spread out and gunked all over the place.
Exactly.
You know, like when a person slaps their hand against the water,
yes,
it just splashes out in all directions. It doesn't just shoot out like a water gun. So unless there's a spouse over here just shooting in one direction only, this should not exist as magma. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Tell me if you have more insight into this, what it could be, what it might be, what you think it could be, and why do you think it's coming out of our sun?
Some new footage from NASA's SDO Helio viewer, and this footage is from January 25th through the 26th of this year, 2016, showing this massive spherical object next to the sun, which you're seeing in the footage here. And if you will remember, there was a viral news story regarding another piece of SDO footage that was released in March of 2012, showing another one of these massive spherical objects, which, by the way, are probably 100 times the size of Earth, next to the sun, sucking off plasma from the sun before finally detaching and flying away, which is what you're seeing in this 2012 footage here. And this new footage seems to show the same object. And while some have said, hey, this is just magnetic plasma bands of the sun, I have spoken to many of my science friends who monitor these satellites and monitor the sun's activity on a daily basis, who have said that they have no idea what the hell this is, and that it's nothing natural that they have ever seen before in their lives. And I take their word over anybody else's. Magnetic bands do not form in a perfect sphere, which then seems to suck other plasma from the sun and then detaches and flies away out into space, out of the view of the SDO. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. This is what happened in March of 2012. We had this massive circular object next to the sun, sucking off plasma before detaching and flying away. And here we are seeing this same object here through footage that was taken just days ago. So again, you be the judge. However, when my science friends are telling me that it's nothing that they've ever seen naturally occurring on the sun before, and then in comparing that to the March 2012 footage, I have to say I definitely think there's something more to this. And I have seen some of the NASA trolls coming out and hitting stories like this hard. They did it in 2012, and I'm sure they'll do it now with this footage, because whatever this object is, they do not want it to get out. They want to explain it away very easily for you, and then they want you to say thank you and to walk away and never think about it again. But we don't do that here, and you're not going to do that.
And see, everything that you are witnessing now with disclosure, more and more and more, it's actually not becoming a popular topic, friends. It's because half of population has become awoken. More than half of people on planet Earth understand our reality. So now we're going to proceed into another clip, a longer clip. This one is actually from Nassim Haramein. Now, this is him giving a talk at a Berlin university. So this is going to be about approximately 7 minutes long. And the reason why I'm sharing all these clips, it's to spread the word in order for you to discover other sources of information. So Nassim is a remarkable mind indeed. And so now, without any further ado, let's proceed.
Physics that we know of, this is very much a description of what we call a wormhole in physics, which is a consequence of Einstein field equations.
Was man hier rechts sieht, ist eine wissenschaftlich bewiesene Sache, ist ein Wurmloch und geht in die Einstein, in what?
Field equations? Field equations?
In der Einstein-Feld. Okay.
Yes, and that was first worked out by John Wheeler. And you know, what's really remarkable here, first of all, you know, these pieces, usually in many of the pieces that Klaus and I have been looking at for some 20 years or 25 years, you know, there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to be done, a certain amount of decoding.
In den letzten Jahren bei Objekten von mir, bei Objekten, die Nassim recherchiert hat, wird viel hineininterpretiert.
This professor is doing his best to interpret Nassim's English, so he's having a little bit of difficulty, but thankfully a lot of the students are going to come up and help.
You know, usually there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to happen, but here there's no interpretation needed. It's pretty clear. This is obviously a spaceship that is coming out of what we call a wormhole. And what was really exciting for me is that, you know, in standard physics, when we came up with the mathematic for a wormhole in standard physics, wait a minute.
Hier braucht man nicht viel erklären. Man hat hier das UFO, man hat das Wurmloch. Das UFO kommt aus dem Wurmloch heraus.
Yeah, and in standard physics,
in der klassischen Physik,
the wormhole mouth is billions and billions of times smaller than an atom.
Der Ausgang des Wurmlochs ist millionenfach kleiner, smaller than
an atom,
als ein Atom.
Yeah, and so it's conceptually impossible to travel through wormholes.
Darum sagt die Wissenschaft, ist es unmöglich, durch ein Wurmloch zu reisen.
But there is one possibility, and that is that spin at high velocity can open the mouth of a wormhole.
Ja, jetzt gehst du aber her.
Come on, weiter. Yes.
Bei der Wissenschaft läuft es bei mir aus.
Teamwork.
Durch die Drehung öffnet sich das Wurmloch, wird größer.
But that possibility was only possible in the physics of spin in Einstein field equation, which is something I put in to Einstein field equation.
Das ist nur möglich über diese einsteinische Feldgleichung, ne? Yes, please, come on. Very nice.
Super.
Sorry, come on. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Dadurch, dass Nassim halt den Spin reingebracht hat in diese einsteinischen Feldgleichungen, ist es möglich, dass sich das halt öffnet. Entschuldigung. Hat das jetzt jeder verstanden oder soll ich es nochmal wiederholen? Okay, ja.
And so basically here you can see that the wormhole is spinning.
We are going to zoom into the pictures soon. There we go.
Man kann halt sehen, dass an der einen Seite das Wurmloch klein ist und sich immer weiter erweitert und dann im Endeffekt das UFO rauskommen kann.
Want to go to the next? Yep. So here we have an even more amazing piece. And you know, you are all some of the first ones to see these pieces.
Also
Pay attention, viewers.
Bild und wir sind welche der Ersten, die das sehen.
Die ersten.
And you can see again, we have a solar system. Here is a planet with an atmosphere.
Das Sonnensystem und der Ring, den da gezeigt hat, ist ein Planet mit einer Atmosphäre.
And this planet with an atmosphere must be the Earth. We can assume it's the Earth, but it's definitely a planet with an atmosphere. There's a ship here and a ship here.
Ja, wir nehmen an, dass es die Erde ist, weil es eine Atmosphäre hat und man sieht dann halt diese Schiffe, die Richtung Erde, weil wir es annehmen gehen.
And there's a nice little blow up of what's inside the dome of the ship.
Ja, ist wie so eine Explosionszeichnung, also das, was innen drin ist, zeigt dann da oben halt.
In case you're confused
Oh.
what it is.
That's a little person, don't you agree?
Well, you can see the steps here, typical of, pyramidal step pyramids.
Ja, man sieht da halt diese Streifen, das sieht aus wie eine Treppe und das erinnert eben an diese Stufenpyramiden, die man überall findet.
And here we can see that this ship is following a comet that is coming at the Earth.
Da kann man annehmen, dass das UFO im Prinzip einem Kometen folgt, der auf die Erde zusteuert.
Or at least at the planet that's here. And you can see that this UFO, right, which you can see is moving at high velocity, is doing something to push the comet.
Also wenn man sich das UFO im Endeffekt anguckt, dann kann man annehmen, dass diese Streifen von unten eine Bewegung mit einer hohen Geschwindigkeit ist und dass es eine Interaktion zwischen dem Kometen und dem UFO gibt.
So this could be a representation of an event either in our past or in our future.
Ja, im Endeffekt muss man annehmen, dass es eine Repräsentation ist von irgendeinem Event, das entweder in der Vergangenheit gelegen hat oder in der Zukunft. Aber jetzt ist es ja nicht.
And so a very interesting piece as well.
Now, how is that sitting with you? Ancient Mayan artifact from ancient past. They're pretty creative, huh, for primitive people? Well, that's not art. Those depictions were recording history. So it's either, like Nissim said, it's either what has happened in the past, or maybe that was done in the past, knowing what was to come. And in order to preserve that information for us here now today, to find those stones and to decode the information, to warn us about what is returning again. Everything is cyclic. Just like your birthday that comes by every year, holidays come by, seasons change, everything is cyclic, such as destruction of planets. It's just a part of cycles. It's the natural laws of the universe. So I just want you to embrace all this information, because this is heavy information. Absolutely. This is, and I know that many of you are deeply happy right now because you felt this was true. And so I'm hoping that you are all appreciating, and the YouTube channels that I'm promoting as well, I hope that you're all appreciating the fact that I'm sending people out to your channels as well. And I wanted to compile all these different videos into one video, because all these people have great information, but yet not everybody are following the trail of breadcrumbs. So I wanted to put them all together in this one episode so that they can be all collected, so that you can have all those breadcrumbs in one video. Beautiful information. Scary for some, exciting for others. But it most certainly is a very profound moment to be living on Earth at this time in this transition. And so now in closing, I'm going to share with you another clip, a last clip from Nassim. This one's a 7-minute clip. And this clip is basically describing the sealing of Hathor's temple in Dendra. So enjoy, everybody. And again, what you're going to hear is heavy information, but Nassim is not the only one to come to that conclusion, by the way. Many people have came to that conclusion from different fields of science, from medicine to psychology to spirituality and to people of everyday walks of life, you know. Breathe deeply. Enjoy this next clip.
This is the ceiling in the Hathor temple. It's remarkable. The Hathor, you know, which don't quite look human at all. They have ears that resemble the ears of the bull, you know, and they have very big eyes and so on. Do you have a picture of that whole ceiling? This is a ceiling representing Nut, and I was discussing with this is an amazing temple, beautiful, amazing temple. I could talk on that temple alone for quite a while, but that's the end of it. Okay, so that's Nut at the other end of the ceiling. So just stay there for a minute. So basically, Nut is spanning, you know, the star field. You can see the star between her arms there, and so on. And you know, and what you see, and this is something I was talking in Egypt about to all the participants and to the guides, to the archaeologists, is that okay? So here we see it. Yeah, that's the head, and it goes all the way to the other end, to the feet. So what we see in Egypt, everywhere, on top of all the entrance of all the temples, in many different, in the most sacred places, where in the Holy of Holies, the center of the temple, so on, is that sphere with wings, right? The one that we see entering the mouth of Nut there, or exiting the mouth of Nut. And so it's called a sun disk. Yeah. Here you can clearly see that it's not a disk. It's a sphere, right? It protrudes, it's in 3 dimensions, it's a sphere. And it's shown with wings, I believe, because it has gravity control. It can fly. It's not on the ground. It's in the air. So that's the easiest way to portray it, is to show it with wings. And here you can see, it's very rare, you can see the wings are folded and it's going into the mouth of Nut. And then on the other side, if you can go to the feet, and so I was saying, in that, on the other side, you see the sphere radiating, coming out. And so what I'm saying is that the sphere is not the sun. It's described as the sun disk. It's described as the sun disk. Thank you for rotating that. It's described as the sun disk because it radiates light, because it's an energetic ball of light, right? Which, you know, many modern UFO experiences and video and all this show these ships as balls of light. Anyway, you can see it come out basically of her hip. I'm assuming it's coming out, it's describing coming out of her yoni, you know, coming out of, you know, her hip. And all the way, her garment, all the way through her body, has stars in the middle of it. and waveforms. You see these waveforms on her garment. And so what I was describing is that this could be a completely different representation of what actually, you know, was interpreted by the mainstream about this very specific, which is represented many places in Egypt. You can see the boats of the sun god, the sun gods in the boats in between, traveling through there. And what I was saying is that this is a representation of the travel through a wormhole, going into the mouth, coming out of the yoni, or going in the yoni and coming out of the mouth, you know, being the wormhole with the waveforms of the wormhole and the stars field travel, literally showing you're traveling through the stars in the night sky. And the boats of the sun gods showing the travel across and describing the travel across through the wormhole from the land of the Athars. Yeah, there it is. See, with all the story of the sun gods inside spheres, traveling in the boats, traveling across the body of Nut, or across the wormhole structure. And actually going to the land of the Athars. See, if you go back to the feet, you can see, if you go to the feet, you can see clearly showing this is arriving at the land of the Athar. Go back to the head, and that would be leaving Earth, from Earth, in and landing or ending, or leaving the land of the Athar and arriving, the sun gods arriving to Earth, you know, arriving in our region of the sky. And, you know, and this is, you have to put in context. It's not isolated. This is in the temple that has Athar heads everywhere, you know. It has much more writing. Oh yeah, the eye, if you want to put the eye there, you know, the eye inside the sphere, that's representing singularity. The eye is the pupil of the eye is where light is absorbed into your skull. You know, the eye representing the singularity at the center of the power source. The eye as well, in hieroglyphs, all the pieces of the eye represent fraction from 1/2 to 1/4 to 1/8, 1/16 to 1/32 to 1/64, which relates to the fractal geometry of space. You know, clearly here, Anubis is interacting with this object, with this spherical object. You can clearly see that the so-called sun disk is sitting on some kind of device that cradles it. So if it's the sun, why is it on some kind of cradle? Of course, this is not the sun in the sky. This is something that radiates like the sun. Anyway, I could go on and on.
And that was the last clip that I have to share with you today in this episode. What a full charge topic, right? I hope that this has stirred you in some way if you were not aware about this. And if you had hunches or thoughts or heard about this, I hope you're excited. In either case, viewers, I would like to say that it is my duty to be filming these videos from now on. And I understood that this was a part of my mission to come out only later in my life. So it took me a while to own that. And so with that said, I would like to say that in closing, that the format of this show is going to be exploring different ways, different methods. So right now it's just me with my gear, but I'm going to sometimes be working with some crews. I will be also touring. So this is my home right now. And so when I'll be touring, you will see different formats of presentations. So this is not like my official format. I'm going to be exploring and try different things. So I find it very exciting to be in this position right now. Everyone, speak your truth. I hope that you have absorbed this information, and I wish you all a fantastic day. Please, I invite you to click on subscribe and click onto the bell if you've liked this video. More videos are to come. I post bi-weekly for now. It will become more frequent, but for now, since I'm starting, bi-weekly is good enough. And so thank you for attending, and I hope that this was inspirational. Please spread the word and share our channel with your friends and family. Help us to awaken the world. And with that, I'm sending you all a big hug. Thank you dearly for your time. And until next time, keep your eyes to the sky.